Good evening, viewers. This is LTV1, your community television programme. I'm your presenter for the evening. My name is Eamon Creedon. I hope you enjoy tonight's programme. I now hand you over to Pat O'Connell for the news and sports.
Hello there and welcome back to LTV1 for the new season. My name is Pat O'Connell and I'll be here again with you for the coming season, bringing you items of news, interviews and sports updates. To start off this week, I have a note from the West Cork Leader Cooperative Society, and they will be holding a workshop in the Castle Hotel Macroom on Monday evening, the 27th of November, from 7 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. And this workshop is all about volunteering, and it is proposed to do a series of seminars that will showcase the crucial role that volunteers have played in the success of many communities. The seminars will deliver specific information and advice relating to volunteering. The target audience is community members either already engaged in or with an interest in the village or environmental enhancement or cultural and heritage projects, which would like to learn more about the effective of volunteer recruitment and management. And they say this seminar is taking place on Monday the 27th of November in the Castle Hotel, and anybody who's interested can contact Michelle Ryan at the West Cork Leader Group, and the telephone number is 023 34035. That's 023 34035. Now, last week in the Macroom, a new project was launched to coincide with the Chernobyl Children's Project, and this is a Mid-Cork outreach group. A.D. Roach, who is the founder member of the Chernobyl Children's Project, came to Macroom to launch the project. She was recorded at a civic reception in Macroom Town Council chambers, and we went along to pick up some of the proceedings.
It's a cause, I think, that deserves the support. You know, talk is cheap and all that, and it deserves the support of everyone. I know people have their own charities, they're different, but this is worthwhile. I mean, I think it was a couple of months ago I met a few children from the area, and you know, they really touched me. Like, I mean, they were so delighted to be here, and I was so delighted to meet them. So, you know, it kind of clicked, and it's something that I think if the people meet people from Belarus, you have to meet people to
Well, Bhuir Foley, Gwina Ushla, Cordia Gael and members of the council. I have to say that nights like tonight are very rare and quite extraordinary, and in fact I hadn't focused on that I was actually going to be the centre of this civic reception tonight, because I really came prepared to, and I want to thank you so much for that, and I am deeply moved by that. And I also want to say how privileged I am to be here beside Tim and with Deirdre and their very able-bodied committee to launch really the Mid-Cork group, and that is a vast, wide geographic area.
Now, I'm talking to A.D. Roach, who's going to give us some details of the new outreach project which has been formed in Macroom. I'm delighted to welcome A.D. Roach to Macroom, the founder of the Children's Chernobyl Project. A.D., you're here in Macroom tonight for the launch of the Mid-Cork Outreach Programme, I think is the name of it. Could you just give us a brief idea what it's about and what it's all about?
Sure. This is an extraordinary gathering tonight, and I have to say one that gladdens my heart to be here in Macroom to launch. It's in our inaugural meeting of something like 7 or 8 different groups all around, from Ballincollig right down to Ballyvourney, Clodove, Farran, just all over the region. And it's to bring children from Chernobyl here next summer. And in fact, I've just been told that we're going to bring 32 into this district, which is fantastic because this is the 20th anniversary of the Chernobyl disaster, and of course we're thrilled that we actually have a new area coming up, bringing new blood into the organisation. So tonight is like a transfusion of hope even for me as well after 20 years. So I'm thrilled to be here for the light. It's been very exciting.
as you say, Eddie, over the years, you've been bringing people. Have you many more groups in the Cork area besides Nostalgia Macroom?
No, actually, not particularly in this region. This is actually, is new territory for us. We have Cork City, and we have East Cork and North Cork, and all around other regions, but not so much here. So this really is, a very exciting development for us. And I have to say, the people of Macroom and the surrounding area can be so proud of people like Tim O'Sullivan and Deirdre, and they have a wonderful committee, and the students of Kilmurray National School who did so much terrific fundraising to make it possible. And it's so hard sometimes to sustain a tragedy, to keep telling the story for 20 years, and it's wonderful to know that the power of this larynx can sometimes translate into something very, very positive. And tonight is about the action of doing something, and the message that this goes out from here to the people of Chernobyl is that the people of Macroom and the surrounding districts really care and are willing to share the burden. And by actually taking the children from Chernobyl, for every single child that's brought to this area, the doctors can measure that medically to say it's the equivalent of 2 years added onto their lives, and that is an extraordinary gift, because you cannot quantify the gift of life.
You're telling me there's about 35 people coming to the Macroom region. Now, what kind of money would be involved in order to bring those people here and to maintain them while they're here and all that?
Sure, well, you'd be talking in the region of about €350 per child. So it's actually not a huge sum of money, because the people that are going to open their hearts and their homes to these children are doing so as a gift, actually. So they're doing it as volunteers. So all we need to fundraise here in Macroom, in this district, is actually just for the bare flights and the minimum cost, so about €350. So perhaps we could say to people that for Christmas, that instead of buying some fancy perfume or another shirt and tie or whatever aftershave for your husband, that you might consider maybe between a family to actually sponsor a child as a gift for Christmas. And I think that would be a very special thing to do.
So now there's an idea for the people that watch us that sponsor a child for Christmas is Edie's message. Edie, I just want to say to you again, you're a fabulous lady. You're doing great work, and there's much. I hope you have many long years ahead of you doing that.
Mila mágat.
Thank you very much. Thanks for that. I'm now here from Macroom Flower and Garden Club. They're presenting a traditional Christmas at home. It's a demonstration by Maureen O'Keefe in Cookore House, Macroom, on Thursday the 16th of November 2006 at 8 p.m. The proceeds are going to the Irish Cancer Society. Light refreshments will be served, and everybody is welcome to come along. And admission here is €10. That's on Thursday the 16th of November 2006 at Cookore House, Macroom Flower and Garden Club, presenting, as I said, a traditional Christmas at home. McEgan College, the self-help project, they're holding a monster bazaar, cake sale, lucky dip, and a raffle for unbelievable prizes. This bazaar will take place on Sunday the 19th of November at McEgan College, starting at 2 o'clock. So we'd ask you to support this bazaar, as I say, for the self-help project. And if you have any items to contribute to the bazaar, please hand them in during school hours. Our students will be calling to your house on Friday the 17th between 11 p.m. and 4 p.m. To collect items for the bazaar. So if you need any further details about it, if you can contact McEgan College, and they will give you further details. Now this week also, Larry O'Donovan, who lives in Salonways, Macroom, is heading off out to Cape Town in South Africa as part of the Neil Millen Challenge. Larry has gone to South Africa on many occasions before, and last weekend at the Old Triangle there was a fundraiser to raise funds for his project out there. We now show you a snippet of some of the work which has taken place in the last couple of trips when they went out there, and this is very interesting. We'll show you this now.
I think Larry just has proposal to this lady called Boston 23.
The woman is looking for money from the bank.
I got it from the bank, but I didn't finish my house yet inside. I didn't finish yet inside, yes.
Who are you looking for?
Here we have two ladies washing. 3 bats, 4 bats actually, washing their clothes. All by hand.
Very good.
Everything by hand.
Very, very good.
There's 2 ways of doing it. You do it with your feet and your hands. This is marvellous to see. Thank you. And here we have a renovation of a shack. See the materials he's using? Bits of 3x2, bits of whatever we can find.
Nice view here. Nice view.
Here we are, look.
Very good.
There's a lady and a baby at the door. I'm going to approach and see if I can get in. Hello.
It's a remarkable sight. 700 Irish men and women walking into the township of Inazamu Yetu. 14,000 people here are squeezed into tiny shacks on a meagre 40-acre site. This is the 3rd year of the project, run by Dublin businessman Niall Mellon. Each year, the number of volunteers has doubled. The 6 colour-coded teams each have their own target. The competition between the teams ensures deep commitment, epitomised perhaps by Niall Mellon.
Almost 8 million people live in shacks, and it's an enormous challenge for the government. They're doing everything they can to build houses. The Irish coming here in itself, we're not going to change the landscape of Cape Town or South Africa, but we are giving a huge morale boost to the entire country. They are...
Now, as I say, in the old Triangle on Friday night, there was a fundraiser, and we went along and we talked to Larry O'Donovan regarding what they're going to be doing in this trip to South Africa, which is taking place this week. Now I'm here in the old Triangle in Macroom with Larry O'Donovan, who's heading off out to Cape Town in South Africa during the week to help in the construction of, I think there's 50 houses that build out there. I think there's a team of 300 out there. Larry, would you just give us a bit more details what's happening and what this challenge is all about?
There's 350 people going this year. Last year there was 700 of us, and basically we go out, we build houses in the townships in South Africa, just on the outskirts of Cape Town. For people who live in shacks, basically the shacks are constructed of anything: waste timber, corrugated sheeting, plastic, plywood, bits and pieces of everything. And basically we're giving them a house and giving them a step up in life. It's somewhere to go from, and this is my 3rd year gone out. I went in 2004, 2005, and this is my 3rd year. The first year I went, there was 350 of us. We built 56 houses in a week. Last year there was 700, and we built just over 100 houses the week we were there. And this year there's 350 of us going again.
Can you explain to me now, because I'm getting a small bit confused here. You said that 700, we built how many houses?
106 houses.
No, can you tell me what are the houses actually constructed, or are they timber framed?
Or cavity block, single cavity block. They're single story. They're generally either 2 or 3 bedroom. They'll have 1 bathroom, kitchen, living, dining area. They're plumbed, wired, painted on the outside. They'll be all slabbed on the inside and everything. And bar a small bit of cosmetic work, they're almost ready for occupancy.
It's a fair achievement.
It is, yeah.
No, you're raising money to help this project.
I'm raising money to help the project. Each person going out has to raise a minimum of €4,000 before they go. Now, part of that goes towards my airline flight and our accommodation, and the rest goes towards the house building program. All donations made, there's no administration fees. The guy who runs it is Niall Mellon, and he has a permanent crew of people employed that he pays personally, and that takes care of all administration things. He takes care of everything on that side. So any money donated goes directly towards the whole house building program.
I know if people want to donate money to this project, they can still do so.
They can do so, yeah. Because right now I've already sent in my application for next year's trip, and if they want to donate money, they can do so by contacting the Old Triangle, or they can contact me directly. I live in number 10 Salon Weirs, and as you see, we're having the fundraiser here tonight. So basically, most of the contributions would be coming through here.
And is it that I just have is it just 1 week in the year ago, or is it a continuing project? Is it going all the time, or?
It is a continuing project, but there's only 1 week that the Irish go, which is basically it's to promote it and to fundraise, and that's where all the funding comes from. That 1 week, because there's some people from all over the country, and some of them are very, very good fundraisers. They raise a lot of money, but the whole building project is going throughout the year. I think at this stage they've built something like about 750 houses, I think, through this whole foundation.
Yeah, it sounds a fabulous project, and I must again congratulate you on your efforts, and fair play to you. Great work, as you told you.
Much appreciated. Thank you very much.
And thanks for talking to us, Larry.
Okay, thank you.
Now, Macroom Senior Citizens, they've asked me to announce that the annual Mass for deceased members will take place on Tuesday the 21st of November in the Father Ryan Hall, Macroom, at 8 p.m. Also, their Christmas dinner will be held on Sunday the 10th of December in the Father Ryan Hall, starting at 1:30. Music will be provided by Frank Fitzpatrick, and tickets are available at €15 each from Evelyn McSweeney, Middle Square, Macroom. That's the Senior Citizens annual Christmas dinner, taking place on Sunday the 10th of December at 1:30, and you're advised to book your tickets early because there's only 80 places available. There'll be a coffee evening on next Friday night, that is Friday the 17th of November, in aid of Marymount Hospice at Vaughan's Cafe in the North Square. As I say, starting at 7 and running on to 9, and we would ask you to please support this coffee evening. Normally it's coffee mornings, you remember this is a new idea. It's a coffee evening running from 7 to 9 o'clock. Drumree National School Parents Association table quiz. They'll be holding this in Drummie's Bar in Drumcarra on Friday the 24th of November at 8:30 p.m. and all are welcome to come along. Sport for last weekend. In the West Cork League, the following were results. In the Beamish Premier Division, Leaside from Inchigeena 1, Drina Rangers 3. In the Beamish Division 1, Castleac 2, Kilmichael Rovers 2. In the Beamish Division 2, Mizzen AFC 0, Drumree Dynamos 0, Ceylon 3, Rosscarbery 1. Fixtures for the coming weekend in the West Cork League. On Sunday the 19th of November 2006, Crossmahon take on Leaside at 2:30 p.m. In the Division 1, Kilmichael Rovers take on Doris at 11 a.m. in Kilmichael. In the AIB Shield, Ceylon take on Rosscarbery at 2:30 p.m. Soccer fixtures in the AUL. On Saturday, November the 18th, this is the Under-12 Schoolboys League. Macroom play Corinthians at 12:45 in Cork. In the Under-14 Schoolboys League, Macroom take on Springfield at 1:30 in Macroom. The AUL Premier Division League, Macroom versus Coachwood at 2:30 in the Town Park, Macroom. That's next Saturday. And in the Division 3A League, Bantier versus Macroom at 2:30 p.m. in Bantier on Saturday. The Macroom Soccer Club Lotto. This week's jackpot is at €2,600. There was no winner this week. The winning numbers were 7, 9 and 19, and the €70 prize went to Margaret Moynihan. GAA. Results from last weekend. In the Intermediate Football Championship, Ballingeary took on Castletown Bear in Parker Ring last Sunday, and this was an intriguing game of football, with the result finishing in a draw.
There are 29 minutes gone. It would take something really special now for Ballingeary to bring them back into this side. They've been Scores, as I said, have been at a premium. One of the men from Ballingeary has gone off over there because of an injury. I'll check in a minute as to who the player is, but the kick out is on its way. The ball is dropping around the middle of the park. The man that has it now is the Donald McCarthy. It's not Donald McCarthy, it's yet is Donald McCarthy. He's the Ballingeary man, fouled behind his own 45-metre line. Olaf Lynch is the man going to take this one. Small in stature but a massive hat. Drives it forward towards Concannon. Concannon can't catch it, but he breaks it down, and there's a free in. Is there a free, I wonder? There's a free in to Ballingeary in the County Intermediate Football Championship of 2006. Will this be the one to draw, I wonder? And the free is quickly taken wide, and he go for a point, I wonder. The kick is coming in, and it's over the bar, over the point. I'll tell you in a minute. The man that kicked it was Owen Quill, the sub that kicked it over the bar, and the sides are level. Now, there is injury time. We have 30 minutes gone, and there is injury time. How much injury time, I'm not too sure, but the kick out will be on its way. Owen Quill was the man that kicked that one, I think, over the bar. There's a little bit of a doubt. I'll check in a minute as to who it was. Doesn't really matter, I wonder. It's 8 points apiece in the Intermediate Football Championship final, and there's a Ballingeary man after catching it, another man after winning it, and then it's laid off to Concannon. One Concannon to another as far as Shorten, and Shorten kicks it inside. Where's it going to go? Over the bar from Liam Shorten from Ballingeary. He has kicked it over the bar. What's going to happen now, I wonder? Ballingeary are gone into the lead, 9 points to 8 in the Intermediate Football Championship final of 2006. There's a woman, and she's after eating her nails. She's at her toes at the moment. The fingers are gone. But the kick out is on over there. There is still plenty of time in this match. Castletown Bear have a free, but it's in their side of the field. Castletown Bear have a free. The journalists are a little disappointed. It's 9 points to 8 in favour of Ballingeary. We're 2 minutes into injury time, and the ball has been brought forward. Now it's up to Ballingeary to defend, and Castletown Bear to drive forward and get that equaliser. Bray O'Regan has it. Alan O'Regan lays it out as far as Paul Harrington. Paul Harrington then quickly as far as the man that has it is Andrew O'Sullivan. If there's any man to kick an equaliser, kick a winner, and it comes then to Wiseman. Another Wiseman has it, and it's over the bar surely from Inda Wiseman. It's over the bar from Inda Wiseman and the Castletown Bear people. It's their time to celebrate. What a finish. It's Donna Wiseman, I should say. Donna Wiseman, my apologies. What a majestic game of football. The sides are level, 9 points apiece. In the Intermediate Football Championship final 2006. We watch for the kick out. There are 32 and a half minutes gone in the first half. Is there time for a winner? We would suggest that there is. The referee is John Carney from the Piercy Club in the north side of Cork City. He looks at the watch in his left hand, the watch in his right hand. He puts the whistle in his mouth, and the sides are level, and the journalist got it right. It ended level, 9 apiece. Jim, there can be very, very few complaints.
Yeah. Mid-Cork GA results last weekend in the Junior C Football League final. Macroom defeated Clondroyd in a score of 2-9. Macroom 2-9, Clondroyd 1-6. The Junior B Hurling Championship, Clodove defeated Ballincollig on a score of Clodove 3-8, Ballincollig 1-7. In the Junior Hurling League semi-final, Dripsy 7-13, Ballinora 5-11. Fixtures for the coming weekend. On next Sunday in Parky Ring, the County Junior Football Championship final takes place, where Grinna, representing Mid-Cork, will take on Adrigole from the Beara Peninsula. Also next Sunday, the replay of the Intermediate Football Championship takes place in Parky Ring, where Ballingeary will again take on Castletown Bear, and this game is at 3:45. Also Sunday at Coachwood at 2:30 p.m, the Premier Minor Football Championship takes place, where Macroom will take on Bishopstown in the quarter-final, and that's at Coachwood at 2:30 p.m. That's all the sport I have for you this week. And same as last year, if anybody needs any event covered, or if you want any item advertised, would you please contact me, Pat O'Connell at LTV Macroom, or you can phone me on 087 266 2192. That's 087 266 2192. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. And next, James Keller interviews Daniel Hurley about the Post Office charity project.
Good evening. Over the next couple of weeks, An Post Charities Appeal, events will be taking place, and we're here this evening to give some details. I have with me on my left here the branch manager of An Post in Macroom, Dan O'Herlihy, and on my right here I have the secretary of the appeals committee, Jerry Murphy. Now I hand you over to Jerry to explain to you how this charity appeal came about. And
thank you, Jamie. This all goes back to Paddy Callan, our postman at the Macroom Post Office, winning the All-Ireland Junior C Road Bowling Championship. Last June, Paddy won the Gaeltacht final behind Ballavourna, and afterwards that night in the Abbey Hotel, both myself and Noel Reardon were behind. Paddy says, look, if I win the county final, we'll do something for charity. So Paddy went on anyway, he won the county final in Newcestown, and of course everything was put in the back burner then because he was going to the All-Ireland, and we were saying, Paddy, look, bring home the All-Ireland now and we'll do it right. So we had a great weekend up in Drogheda in September, and Paddy brought home the silverware. So the time went on anyway, and I was pestering Paddy, what's happening now for charity? Look, he says, go and organise it and I'll sort out the bowling. So we formed a committee below on the post office, and we are going to have a number of events. We're going to give the proceeds of the events to 4 local charities: Macroom Hospital, Macroom Senior Citizens, Cope Foundation and Marymount Hospice in Cork. So hopefully we'll raise a substantial amount of money for the 4 charities in the lead up to Christmas. It will be most beneficial to all.
I know I hand you over to Dan here, which will give you a rundown on some of the events which will be taking place.
Thank you, Jamie. Just to bring you up to date on what's happening with An Post Scór charities. An Post Scór meaning a score of bowls which will be taking place on the Masseytown Ballinagry Road on the 2nd to the 12th. They will have a raffle. Results of same will be announced on Friday the 8th of December at the Old Triangle, Macroom. Tickets are available at €2 each, or 3 for €5. Available from all local post offices and your local postman. Also in McCarthy's Newsagents Main Street. Now the prices are pretty good. We have a family holiday for 2 to Disneyland Paris worth €2,000. Second prize is a weekend for 2 at Rochestown Park Hotel, value of €500. The third prize is €200 worth of home heating oil. The fourth, €200 holiday voucher, and the fifth is a prize bonds value at €100, plus 10 prizes of mobile phone top-ups value of €20 each. Now that is, they're the tickets which will be on sale in post offices, as I said. As well as that, we have a children's colouring competition for children up to 7 years of age, and for the older children up to 6th class in local schools. We will be sending out presentation packs to each school in the area in the coming week. That's all I have to say for the moment. I'll hand it over to Jamie now.
Entries for those competitions, that they be handed in?
Oh, the entries are free, but they can be handed in to any post office or at O'Leary SuperValu, Macroom.
Very good. Now I hand you back again to Jerry to give us a list of sponsors.
Yeah, I just want to thank our main sponsors who have come on board and have put up a substantial amount of money to back us. First of all, the An Post staff in Macroom are backing it. Letterpost in Cork. We've Healy Tyres, Billy Murphy Construction, Media Right, Macroom Motors, Mary's Toymaster, Rochestown Park Hotel, J. Kelleher Clundra Hood, Prize Bond Company, One Direct, Palfab Lazarda, The Old Triangle, Glenview Motors, O'Leary SuperValu, Bank of Ireland, and permanent TSB. Now I'd like to thank all those sponsors for coming on board and for placing their trust in us, and hopefully we'll be able to raise a substantial amount of money for the local charities.
I'd like to say thanks to Jerry and to Dan for coming here for this presentation, and I'd like to say that the presentation to the charities will take place at the Old Triangle on Saturday the 9th of December at 9 p.m. There will be music and everybody is welcome. Thank you.
Dis mar íomh go léir agus céad fáilte eis ríis go dtí an séisiúr nua seo don telefí seo túil. Buchas mór le díobh hí saora únta go gin go léir an aimse go húntaach agus sospré tásúil gom ag a chéine gaibh. Brendan O'Brien is my name. I'm back again this year and hoping to conduct a number of interesting interviews for local television. We are hoping particularly to involve people on the street this year to get some views on what is happening in their town. Anybody with two eyes in them can see the huge development that's taking place in Macroom town and indeed along the Lee Valley in the last year or two. I'm sure that you out there have lots of opinions about it. We're hoping that you'll voice them on television. We hope also this year to have the Toastmasters here with us, soapbox item, where maybe they stand on the soapbox and expound grandly on some of the great topics and themes of our time. We are looking forward to that. These are the professional speakers. It should prove to be most interesting. So, good evening, Mimid, Likela Rish, Slán Tamil.
We now go over to Ann Dunn for details of upcoming events in the Brewery Gap. She also interviews Jim Murray, star guitarist.
Hello everyone and welcome back to LTV1 with all the entertainment news. I'm Ann Dunn, and if there's any entertainment news you'd like me to read out for you during the coming weeks, don't hesitate please to send them in to the Brewery Gap here. Thank you. So coming at our cinema on Friday the 17th, Tuesday the 21st and Wednesday the 22nd of November at 8:30 p.m, Click. And the Brewery Gap in association with Salon Film Society present on Monday the 20th of November, Paradise Now. And in association with Salon Film Society on Monday the 4th of December, District 13. And at our theatre, we have a wonderful show next Saturday, the 18th of November at 8:30 p.m, with our own Jim Murray and Seamus Begley. And later on, I will be speaking with Jim and his friend Kevin O'Brien. Thursday, the 23rd of November at 8 p.m, we have Des Bishop. And Sunday, the 3rd of December at 8 p.m, Salon Haven Annual Gala Christmas Spectacular with Brendan Grace. And our usual Christmas pantomime commences on Thursday, the 14th of December, with Aladdin. Now, that's all for the moment. And now we go over to Jim Murray and have a word with him about the entertainment business. Now, as I promised you earlier, I'm joined here with Jim Murray and his good friend Kevin O'Brien. Now, I don't think Jim needs any introduction here in Macroom. You're very welcome, Jim.
Thanks very much.
And I'll just remind you once again that on Saturday next, the 18th, Jim is joined here with Seamus Begley on the stage at the Brewery Gap. Now, Jim, the first thing I remember when I met you, I think, was at McGeegan College when I was down there doing choirs. And any time I came in the door, Jim had a guitar in his hand, regardless of what class was supposed to be on.
yeah.
I think
I
break.
I was supposed to be in Kevin's class that time.
I think you were supposed to be
and that was Kevin's guitar.
You were supposed to be in a lot of classes, but anyway, you were never without a guitar in your hand.
Yeah.
Isn't that true?
It's true, yeah.
When did you start playing first?
The guitar, I
Yes.
suppose the guitar. I remember I got my first guitar, I think, for my 11th birthday. And I remember buying a book and just sort of learning how to tune it and just watching people playing and just picking it up myself. And I suppose I didn't get any training or formal teaching until I went to secondary school and Kevin.
Yeah, of course you have a background of music. Your father was involved in bands, and I suppose you grew up with the thing.
Yeah, exactly.
It was kind of a natural progression
It
for you
was
to get
really,
involved.
I suppose Dad had the band like all those years that I was from when I was a baby, so I suppose all I can remember was there being instruments in the house, and I remember there was always a piano, there was always the accordion was always sort of just on the couch just to sort of pick it up a bit. So I suppose it was very natural, I suppose, kind of an environment for me when I was a young fella.
That
I suppose
was a bit
I probably
like
thought
myself growing up as well. There was
I probably
always
thought
music.
that everyone's house was like that when I was
I know, yeah. Actually, I was talking to Jimmy McCarthy over the weekend there as well, and he was saying the same thing because he was living across the road from me in Macroom, and it was the same. It was always music and instruments. We thought every house was the same.
Yeah.
But anyway, you left McKigan College and you started university for a while, if my memory serves me right. Is that correct?
That's right, yeah. I suppose I remember wondering what I was going to do. I suppose I was like a lot of young people. I had done I was doing my leaving cert, and I suppose I had no idea of really what I was going to do, to be honest. And I remember asking Brendan O'Brien, because he was the career guidance teacher at the time, and he said, what would you like to do? And I said, well, I'd really like to do music. And but of course Brendan had said, well, fair enough, but you probably won't make a living out of it. And I mean, of course, good advice. He said, why don't you go? And I suppose I wasn't bad at engineering, so he kind of said, why don't you go off and try the engineering? So I went off and did that for a while, but I don't know, I suppose my heart wasn't in it, and I just wanted to play music.
I suppose he's sorry, no, he didn't invest in you at the time and say, look, I look after you, boy.
I know, it was good advice at the time.
Well, I suppose every young fella that picks up a guitar, I'd say every teenager has the dream.
Well, it's true, I suppose, yeah.
I mean, you were one of the very few that dream was fulfilled, And at what stage then did you change over from, obviously you left university to go into music. At what stage did the break come then, when you moved from just playing casually or in the bar or with your family?
I suppose the big thing really that happened, I remember I was doing a lot of gigs around here, around Cork and Munster and things like that. And I remember Steve Cooney, a guy who had given me some lessons and stuff like that for over a year or so, had asked me to fill in for him. And I remember getting a phone call from Seamus actually, saying there's a few gigs coming up that I'd like you to be able to do with me. And I thought, maybe one in Cork and maybe one in Dublin. And he said, he said we're going to Tokyo next month doing a thing with Alton and a few people. And I was kind of there was a bit of so I suppose that's where it started really. So it was really like being thrown in at the deep end, to be honest with you. It was very hard.
So it got big very fast.
It got big very fast, and I must say it was very hard at the time. It was, I mean, even though it sounded great and it was great, but it was very challenging, I suppose.
So you were thrown into touring and television
fairly quick. Well, kind of quick. I mean, obviously I'd been playing for years and stuff around here, but I suppose that was a big gig, one of the first ones, and there was a lot of pressure. And I suppose because of who I was replacing as well, it wasn't
of course,
easy,
yeah.
do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that there was an established name there already.
Yeah, but then the years went on, and I mean, I just got used to it. And then I suppose Sharon asked me to play in her band, and it's just, I suppose like anything, it's kind of hard at the start, but then,
And when was your first television appearance? Were you very excited? Or
I think
was it
Joe Kelleher was my first TV appearance in one of Fluke School.
Okay, so it is very nostalgic to be interviewed today. But we'll say RTE, so.
I think I did. I think my first one was with actually a girl called Cora Smith, who she plays the fiddle with Michael Flatley. That show.
Right, yes.
And I did. I remember doing a television.
We're dropping out big names here.
Did a television program with her. I think that might have been the first one.
Yeah.
It was, I think, Marty Whelan or someone. I can't remember the name of the program now. It was probably 10 years ago.
Well, all the viewers would have seen you in the Late now last
that's right,
Friday night. Of course, he did 3 or 4 numbers in Limerick.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of the viewers would like to know the background of what happens the day you get on the Late. What time do you arrive at the studio? How many rehearsals you have, sound checks?
Yeah, well,
Just
I
give us
suppose.
a background
yeah, okay.
as to what it's like to be in the Late Late.
Yeah, well, I remember the first time I did the Late Late. I suppose it's obviously I was actually talking to Damien Dempsey the other day, just talking about the sort of the stigma, or maybe what the Late Late Show is mentally to a lot of people, especially when growing up the Late Late Show. But if you got on the Late Late Show, you made it, really, didn't you? And I suppose I just remember Damien Dempsey going on to sing a song and just going, God, I'm very nervous. He said, I don't know what it is. I suppose it's just the Late Late Show, it just makes people nervous. But we went up Thursday, and we were the house band, I suppose, last Friday night. So we had to sound check the band on Thursday, run through stuff just for the sound, really, because there was a front of house guy doing a sound, but there was also an outside broadcasting unit outside recording it for television. So we did that on Thursday. Then we had to go in on Friday and run through the numbers probably 2 or 3 times each, because the cameras, there's about 4 or 5 cameras, and I suppose they need to get their own, whatever, they have their own agenda, and they need to get the things. So we did that, and then we finished, I suppose, around 6, and we had dinner, and then we got ready, and that was it. It was on.
And do you have a chat with Pat Kenny and all that sort of thing?
Yeah, Pat Kenny. Yeah,
he must know you very well now.
Well, actually, I've met
Pat now at the stage.
I've met him a good few times, and he's actually a really, really genuinely nice person. Very, and he loves music, actually, because I remember even doing his radio show with Sharon last year, and he was just you could see he was very interested in what we were doing, and he was actually trying to play Sharon's accordion and stuff after, because he said he used to play the melodeon when he was a child a little bit.
Right, go away.
Yeah, but no, he's a really, really genuine sort of nice, person, and he's.
So that's kind of your television work. Now about your travel, Jim. Where have you been? I know you've been in Australia quite a lot.
Yeah, I suppose we've toured a lot. Really, we've done Australia, New Zealand, Japan, America, Canada, and most of Europe. So.
Does it bother you a lot to be away from home, or do you just enjoy it now at the stage?
I do enjoy it.
It's part of your life now, anyway.
It is really, but I don't like being away, I suppose, for too long either. Thankfully, I suppose Sharon and Seamus and most of the other people that I work with, I suppose they're at a stage where they don't tour an awful lot. I mean, they do tour, but they don't tour hard. The way some bands, you go to America maybe, and you're in a tour bus for 6 weeks, 8 weeks, and I don't really like that, to be honest with you. I did a couple of tours like that were maybe a month long and stuff, and it's good, but it gets a bit, it's very disjointed, really, kind of lifestyle. It's nice for a week or 2 weeks, but then I think after that you just kind of want to get home and start digging holes in the garden.
Who would you consider the most professional or the greatest star you worked with, or had the pleasure of backing? Or I know now you would be very familiar with Mary Black and all those.
Yeah.
Of course, Sharon and all the gang, and of course you were with John Kenny. And
I suppose I did a couple of tracks with Sinead O'Connor, which was nice, and I suppose Steve Earle, which is a kind of a well-known person as well, did a couple of tracks with him. I don't know, really just, I suppose a lot of people that we meet, they may not necessarily be that well-known around here, but some really brilliant people that I've worked with in other places. It's like, I suppose, we wouldn't be known as well, like in other places.
Yes.
Like other people wouldn't be known here, if you know what I mean.
It amazes me when I see you playing, though, because it seems like you're not even concentrating, you just let it flow. That just intrigues me.
Yeah, I suppose,
It comes so easy to you.
But it's funny, actually, because we just did a night in the National Concert Hall, and we did it with the orchestra, and we were kind of talking about that, it's such a different thing, I suppose, with the trad scene anyway. I mean, like we were talking about, I suppose it's kind of instilled into you, and you just kind of play it because how you feel it and how you hear it. But of course, it was great working with them, but again, it was just funny to see them following the dots and reading, I suppose, reading what we're playing every day, really.
Right, I know. Well, I'm going to take you back a bit now to where we started, which was Makegan College, because I remember in those days, I used to ask Kevin about you see, and Kevin said, you just could not keep music. And he was introduced you to the Beatles. He said, I gave him such a thing going home yesterday, and he came back today, and it wasn't enough. He wants something else today. So I was thinking, what did you feel last Friday, and what did you feel, Kevin, as well, when you heard Norwegian Wood?
Well, yeah, that was great, actually. Well, I knew that Damien had recorded on Sharon's. But
it wouldn't be Kevin's version at all.
No, it's a slightly different. Actually, I was asking Damien about it, and he said he used to play it with a friend of his in Dublin, and I think it was kind of his version, and I suppose, and Damien's version. But yeah, it is slightly different, right? But it was lovely. I thought it was great. Actually, it worked really well.
I suppose I think now you'll forgive me when I say that possibly without the influence of Kevin, your life might have been a bit different.
Oh, absolutely.
I was witness to
Absolutely,
he introduced you to the car.
Yeah.
When did you discover, Kevin, that he was a star?
I'd say 2 days after he came into school for the first time.
Really?
Yeah. He was playing the guitar and he had a few chords, not a lot, but he had a few. But what struck me was that he was able to pick out little tunes, you know. And he started doing a bit of this thing. And I said, this fella has talent. And I took him on board then with a few others, but Jim stayed with it. His father used to collect him, or he used to go to his father to go home from school at 5 o'clock in the evening or thereabouts. And he'd often say to me, will you have a half an hour in the evening and we'll bring in the guitars. And we used to sit in the science room playing, picking out a few Beatles songs, a little bit of James Taylor, and a few other little pieces like that. And that's how we, if you like, got to know one another musically. Now, an interesting thing that did strike me was that I'd be playing something now like, say, the Beatles' Blackbird. And Jim would say, oh, I want to learn that. And I'd take out a sheet of paper and I'd say, well, I write it down for you. And he'd say, do. And I'd spend a half an hour penciling out the notes. And he'd be standing up over my shoulder watching me like this. And when I was finished, I used to hand him the sheet and say, look, there you are now. I don't need it anymore now. He said, I have it off. As quick as that.
Yeah. So you knew there was something different here.
There was something different. And I felt at the time, I do remember on one occasion, I was going into the lobby there in Cork, which was a wonderful music venue. And Jim was still at leaving cert level. And I rang the lobby and I told them I had a young fellow with me that I would like to take him in to see. Who did we go to see that time?
Freddie White, I suppose, is it? Right?
It was probably Freddie White or someone like that. And I said, look, I'd like permission to bring him in. I'll take responsibility for him. And they said, go ahead. I said, he's a budding young guitarist and I would love him to see Freddie White. And I think that was probably your first introduction to the lobby, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And when Jim went in then, after that, into college, he started going to the lobby himself. And I'd say that's where you met Steve Cooney, was it?
Well, no, actually, I think the first time we met them was up in Clonderhood. We used to play at, remember the festival that was at Clonderhood?
Oh, there was a big festival there for a
There
number
was,
of years.
and they were
right,
playing there, and I think it was actually there because myself and Richard Lucy and Jim Larry, who had the living tradition.
That's
and
right, yeah.
I think we actually supported them.
Yes.
We played up there, so
you were kind of spotted there.
The lobby would have been a big kind of focal point of the whole music scene as well. I mean, of course, it is awful that it closed down.
Sure, we could talk to you forever and ever because there's so much to say. But Jim, anyway, Macroom was very proud of you. Delighted to see the success, and we will be watching you as you further your career. And now I think this is kind of nostalgic because do you remember a few years ago as well, just I suppose Jim was probably in Leaving Cert when you both played in the Everyman. We did a show on the Everyman.
Cavatina
is right.
That's
yeah.
right indeed.
And it was absolutely gorgeous.
With Yvonne.
So, yeah, that's right. I'm going to move off now and I'm going to let these very talented musicians play you out.
You might play with us, will you?
I doubt it. I didn't bring the spoons with me today, Jim.
Me? Yeah.
We visited the great GAA Scór finals, and now we show you some footage from that event.
Agus Kundera Coronis leis an Ahrishoracht, O Kunta Kavan, Corin na Féin, Mihal McGibna, and Mihal is going to do a piece called Doing the Double. So Bulabus Murda, Mihal McGibna, O Corin na Féin, E Kunta Kavan.
This story I tell from this cold prison cell, put here on the word of a spy. Me stomach churns with disgust, it's unfair and unjust, as I reflect with some tears and I say, from the day I left school, I worked like a mule. I was out in all kinds of weather. For 6 days a week I drove a shovel and pick. Any wonder me hands is like leather. I tell you no lies, I was a great man to raise. I'd be up before the alarm, out the door at cock crow, come hail, rain or snow, with me biscuit tin under me arm. But in this day and age, it takes more than one wage to keep a man's head above water. So on a Tuesday at 2, I'd sign on to the brew, and back to me work I would dodder. Now myself and the missus, we were past hugs and kisses, but we were happy as cats at the cream. I was partial to stout, so I'd like to get out and come home on a full head of steam. And if she got to her bingo and whist, that kept her in good twist. She never made much of a fuss. She'd squeeze into her stays, put on an assortment of sprays, and get out and jump onto the bus. Well, now our luck took a turn for the worse when the wife lost her purse. One day she was shopping in town. Oh, she went for the priest and she went to the police. But of course, it couldn't be found. And things didn't get any better when there come a brown letter on a day when no gyro was due. Oh, Holy Mother of God, it's from the Bridge fraud squad. Oh, cripes have been catched on the brew. I turned white as a ghost and he choked on me toast as I spluttered and splattered and sput. Me head was rattling and reeling. I doubt somebody's squealing. You'd think they could keep their mouth shut. Yon old Scabby McCoy, he's an old-fashioned boy. I'd say it was him that was talking. Him sitting up pulling gobs round the bookies and pubs, listening and juking and gawking. Well, they called me into Armagh to meet a Mr. McGrath, who took down me name and details. Then he just smiled like a child and said, I'll just get your file. So I sat there chawing me nails. After a short time elapsed, he came back with some snaps. Says he, isn't that you with the jackhammer? Here you are shoveling stones, here you're putting down cones. So I started to splutter and stammer. What happens next? What way am I fixed? Does this all mean that I'm barred? Oh yes, your benefits will cease. We'll send these files to the police, which they'll treat with the strictest regard. But I wouldn't hold up much hope, for you're on a short rope. The evidence is conclusive and ample. To me it's quite clear, Mr. E.G. McAteer, of you they'll make an example. Well, me worst fears were installed when the court it was called, and the judge he called me a dull dodger. We are paying our taxes for your wife's wristwatches. You're a scoundrel, a thief, and a codger. Among your sort of folk, this is some sort of joke. I believe they call it doing the double. Well, I don't find it that funny stealing taxpayers' money, so I'll give you 6 months for your trouble. Well, as I emptied me po, I was feeling quite low. As the lights went out for the night, I looked out through me bars and up at the stars, and laid back and considered me plight. Me cellmate was Jared, he was a boy with a beard. He was in for killing his wife. She was always whinging and yapping and snarling and snapping. He was living a miserable life. So on his way out to Mass, he turned on the gas, 'cause he knew she was fond of a fag. And as he went in through the gates, she went out through the slates. And of course, tongues, they started to wag. When he was questioned and grilled, the beans they were spilled, he agreed that he twisted the knob. Oh, now that she's dead as a stone, she's moaned her last moan. I think, says he, I done a very good job. Well, during me time in the clink, me health has started to sink, and me back's just riddled with pains. As me time draws to a close, I've had me highs and me lows, but I'm going to start using me brains. I'm fit for no heavy toil. I think it's time to uncoil and hang up me shovel and pick. So I've lined up a nice handy job up in Ballymacnob, and I'm going to sign on to the sick. Thank you.
Kinkiri, Killarney, and they'll dance Trip to the Cottage. So I don't have to ask for a bowl of bus more for the local group from Glenflesk in Killarney with Trip to the Cottage. má goibh na Calíní ó Glen Flesk an Seoigh Killarna. Sin deir leis an rinca fórna, agus níos rock míid ráid go dtí an céad comórtas eile an Aráníocht déanaar solo singing. Our first competitor comes from Cunta Port Lariga, from Dunhill. Mairead Ní Vorga, Margaret Moore, and Mairead will sing Ellis Island. So Bula Bus Moore, the Mairead Ní Vorga from Dunhill in Cunta Port Lariga.
On the first day of January 1892, they opened Ellis Island and they let the people through. And the first to cross the threshold of that Isle of Hope and Tears was Annie Moore from Ireland, who was only 15 years. Isle of hope, Isle of tears, Isle of freedom, Isle of fears, but it's not the isle you left behind. That Isle of hunger, Isle of pain, Isle you'll never see again. But the Isle of home is always on your mind. In a little bag she carried all her past and history, and her dreams for the future in the land of liberty. And courage is your passport when your old world disappears, and there's no future in the past when you're 15 years. Isle of hope, Isle of tears, Isle of freedom, Isle of fears, but it's not the isle you left behind. That Isle of hunger, Isle of pain, Isle you'll never see again. But the Isle of home is always on your mind. When they closed down Ellis Island in 1943, 17 million people had come there for sanctuary. And in springtime when I came there and I stepped onto its piers, I thought of how it must have been when you're 15 years. Isle of hope, Isle of tears, Isle of freedom, Isle of
Má goibh St. James's from Lochgorman, agus inis ó Cúnta Leitrim, Ochna Sheelan, and the Ochna Sheelan group will sing the Bantry Girls Lament and the Spanish Lady. So Bula Bus Moor do Ochna Sheelan in Cúnta Leitrim.
Oh, who will plough the fields now, or who will sow the corn, and who will mind the flock now, and keep them neatly shorn? The stack that's in the haggard, unthrashed it may remain, since Johnny went a-thrashing to fight the King of Spain. Oh, the girls from the Bonoak in sorrow may retire, and the piper and his bellows go home and blow the fire. Since Johnny, lovely Johnny, is sailing o'er the main, along with other patriots to fight the King of Spain. And the boys will sorely miss him when money ne'er comes round, and they'll find that their bold captain is nowhere to be found. And peelers must invite them against their will and grain, since the gallant boy who gave them work, now he's the King of Spain. Oh, who will plough the fields now, or who will sow the corn, and who will mind the flock now, and keep them neatly shorn? Will not permit our Johnny to return. His heavy loss the Bantry girl will never cease to mourn. We'll resign ourselves to our sad lot and die in grief and pain, since Johnny died for Ireland's pride in the foreign lands of Spain. Oh, who will plough the fields now, or who will sow the corn, and who will mind the flock now, and keep them neatly shorn? The stack that's in the haggard, unthrashed it may remain, since Johnny went a-thrashing to fight the King of Spain. The stack that's in the haggard, unthrashed it may remain, since Johnny went a-fighting to the foreign lands of Spain.
Sorry, took it two.
Toora, laddie, whack all the tourelay. As I was walking through Dublin City, about the hour of 12 at night, it was there I saw a fair pretty female washing her feet by candlelight. First she washed and then she dried them over a fire of ambry coals. And in all my life I never did see a maid so neat about the soles. She had 20, 18, 16, 14, 12, 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, none. She had 19, 17, 15, 13, 11, 9, 7, 5, 3, and 1. Stopped to look, but the watchman paused. See, young fella, now the night is late, and along with you home or I will wrestle you straight away to the bridal gate. Got to look from the Spanish lady, hot as a fire of ambry coals. And in all my life I never did see a maid so neat about the soles. She had 20, 18, 16, 14, 12, 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, none. She had 19, 17, 15, 13, 11, 9, 7, 5, 3, and 1. As I walked back through Dublin City, as the dawn of day was o'er, oh, who should I spy but the Spanish lady when I was weary and but sore. She had a heart so filled with loving, and a love she longed to share. And in all my life I never did meet a maid who had so much to spare. Tooraloo, round and around goes the wheel of fortune. Where it rests now wearies me. Oh, fair young maids are so deceiving, sad experience teaches me. She had 20, 18, 16, 14, 12, 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, none. She had 19, 17, 15, 13, 11, 9, 7, 5, 3, and 1. Tooraloo, laddie, whack all the tourelay.
Nach Creeknahan ish, tell me the Driven the Derry Nahiha on Comortas Ger nach Ring Cassette. Our first set dancers tonight are coming from the Downs in County Westmeath, Nadonta. And they're going to do two parts of the Plain Clare set. So Bulabus more than the Downs, Kunta Nahirvi with two parts of the Plain Clare set. Gorvila Mahagwiv.
We will bring you more of the Scór next week. That is it for our programme this week. Thank you. Good night.